Hey guys, I'm McGRAVY. This is Frontier Fan VOD review, and today we're gonna be looking at some of your best plays. All right, before the game even starts, you should always use in every second you have to think about your comp and the enemy's comp, and seeing how you play off each other, right? So they're playing Mei Genji, so there's not a lot of range, so you can get up and close and personal. So let's see how we can move from there. Doing a good job pressuring their enemy D.Va, but you're taking a lot of damage for it. The thing I would suggest is using high ground as much as possible with D.Va. High ground has a lot of advantages. Mainly that you can pressure the enemy team from multiple angles and make them, distract them a little bit. One big thing is when you use shift, you can use shift aggressively, but you want it to end your shift in as favorable spot as possible. So you don't want to be shifting and ending up in their backline unprotected. So if I were to shift the way you're shifting right now, is try and shift their team and then end up in a high ground, say top right on those little ledges, right where the D.Va is right now. Be a really good start. It's good though, you're keeping pressure on the enemy team the entire time, you're using shift as much as possible, which I think is really important on D.Va. Generally, you want to keep that thing off cooldown and always be flying around the map, always creating pressure on the map, so you're doing a good job so far. But D.Va is probably the one here in the game where you constantly have to be thinking about not only your team's ults, but the enemy ults as well, because you have defense matrix. Take my gameplay for example, I'm probably one of the best D.Vas in the game at denying ultimates, and defense matrix is really strong. You can completely change the tide of a game just by eating one ultimate, so think about it in any way you can. It's like right now, you should be tracking what else they use. They use Flux, they use Nanoblade, what else do they have? And right now, the big relevant ult for you is Mei Blizzard. So you should be thinking any way you can, is Blizzard close? What can I do to eat the Blizzard? How can I position? Okay, ooh, nice bomb. What I liked what you did with your bomb there is you slid it off the wall. I think a lot of people underrate sliding bombs off walls to kind of disguise where the bomb's gonna land. But I'd love to see how you played around Blizzard here. I think that's a really key ultimate that you need to be looking out for. Okay, maybe a little too aggressive on the shift. Shifting aggressively is good, but you want to make sure you do it with a proper amount of health and end up in a good spot as well. What I would do in this scenario is, depending on where the card is, when you're eating blizzards, you want to end up on high ground as much as possible to deny the fact that the Mei can't freeze you, right? So if you're sitting on high ground, she's spraying at you, you really can shift away or do whatever you need to do to not get frozen. Because if you get frozen, that's a free blizzard every time for the enemy team. Also, getting sub's a big one. See? You gotta be really careful with how you position and what you do, because although this blizzard from the enemy team wasn't good, better team would have taken advantage of that and had a good blizzard. Yeah, same thing with your shifts. I think you're using shift really aggressively, which I think is really good, and using it off cooldown pretty much, but you always end up in the middle of their team, and you want to try and avoid that as much as possible. We talked about at the start of the game how you play based off what the enemy team has, right? And I think you're doing a really good job sitting on the Ana. But I think perhaps one thing you could do a little better versus Ana's is eating the nade. It's a hard ability to eat, but I think a lot of Anas, especially on lower elos, are really easy to bait out their nade. You just pressure them a little bit, shift on them, and around halfway of their health, just make sure she's getting pressured, then drop the matrix for the 2 seconds, and you should be able to eat that Ana nade, which I think will do a lot of good for you. Now you're playing against Junkrat. So the biggest thing you can do for your team right now is just making sure you use your matrix effectively and efficiently to get your team in without taking too much poke damage. Same thing, I like to see you take high ground a little more. I think instead of sitting behind shield here, you could take top left and take up sort of an off angle and pressure your team from behind the cart. Biggest thing I can say that can improve your gameplay so far is just making sure you use high grounds as much as possible. I think high grounds is probably the most important, not the most important thing in the game, but easily one of the most important things in the game, so I'd like to see you use that a little more. Okay, closing out the map. Clean up kills. Same thing like I said earlier, just you can chase kills, but just making sure your supports stay alive is the best thing you can do for your team. Nice, close out the map. That's it for this VOD review. Thanks for spinning the VOD, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.